Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design Cities Skylines. My name is Rick Toaster and we are back at Cedar Valley where I'm just showing you a glimpse of all the progress that I've did off camera, and I really can't wait to show you because I put a good 5 hours into adding details and redoing a bunch of different things all over this place. But this is going to be a really fun episode, and you know what? Let's just get started because this truck is going I don't know where exactly. But probably not where I wanted to go. So I'm just going to start over here in this corner because I've been doing some decoration in an area that we were working before, but haven't updated in a while. So pretty much what I did here is converted all these patch of grass into a more barren land, for the most part, just so that I could get the textures to match. I'm really seriously considering changing the sand, not the sand texture, but the dirt texture, because I feel like it's a bit too bright to what it is. And you'll see in a moment why I think that is, because I pretty much added this texture all over the place, since it's the one that came in with the guardrails, as well as this side texture on the side of the roads that I really can't change. So I'm going to see if I can find a texture that's a little bit more... a little bit darker and something that looks more like the, basically our sand conversion over here. In fact, I might bring the original default sand and maybe replace this texture with this one. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. But as you can see, I added a ton of detail over in this corner. We now have a proper sunken freeway interchange with all sorts of details. Let me just zoom in here. We have some signs on the corner, also over on this side, and I added a bunch of rocks and some trees for good measure. And I pretty much actually left on purpose a bunch of I keep saying a bunch, but don't mind me, a few spaces here and there with just empty grass. And the reason why, it's just because it actually makes it look nicer. If you fill everything with trees, I don't think that actually looks great. I know people tend to fill every single gap with trees, and it doesn't look bad, don't get me wrong. But I feel like leaving some gaps and have tiny little clusters of trees makes it even better. So as you can see here, we also have some rocks, and this dirt kind of comes and goes. I try to come up with a more organic design to this area, and I think I just couldn't be happier with the results. I also put down, I don't know if I did this for the previous episode, but I put down some billboards here as well, and some of these airport lights that I'm going to show you how they look at night in just a second, because I added them pretty much all over the place. So you can see here we have a few more, and this is sort of what I was talking about. This whole patch of dirt, it seems like a bit too much. I do like how this looks. It's way very, very simple, nothing too crazy. I might add a few of these long tall bushes or grass just to add a bit more detail, but overall I really like how this whole area is looking, and I hope you do too. And over here on this incineration plant combo thing, we have I put up a tiny little police station. I think this is a rural police station, and I fenced out all the edges. And over here, since all these grass is on the other side of the edge, well, the grass is not being kept very well, so it's all kind of wild and out of control. I really like that, and I also put down a little detail here with some tiny pines, and I did replicate the same design all over on the other side of this overpass. So this whole area, I would call this pretty much complete, because I love how it turned out. And I also added some containers in the back, some random props over here, just to make it a little bit more, for everything to come together, not just have basically empty concrete lots, which wouldn't look so bad either. But I thought this was a good addition to this part. Now, we have this spot here. I want to talk to you about this in just a second, because there's a building that I want to plop that I tried it off camera, and I think it looks great, but I want to do it on camera just so you can see it. Now, let's see. This curve right here. Well, first of all, this whole part, I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to show you this up here, this thing up here in just a second. But I did created this kind of logistics center with a bunch of warehouses, some parking lots, and again some barren land with some really with weeds, pretty much decorating the edges of the parking lots. And I created this tiny little park at the edge of the freeway, which I think looks really nice. It adds a touch of green to this whole area. And over here, I pretty much extended this railway line. And since I'm not going to work on this right now, I just decided to put down a crane. I think I stole this idea from someone. I can't remember who. But I know I'll admit that I was inspired. I think it was Corrales who did something like this. Actually, in fact, Corrales did this thing in his latest video too. Which by the time I was finished with this and I watched this video, I'm like, shit, he bit me to it. Part of my French. I was also working on something here that I didn't want to show this on camera in this episode, but I'm hoping to get a canal here. I reworked this area a little bit. This is the edge of the map, by the way, over here. But I tried redoing this whole part and trying to get a canal, and hopefully this will serve as irrigation for the farms that we could potentially have on this area of the map. And this ended up being a bit too low. I want to bring this up in terms of height, simply because it's just underwater, because it's at the same level of this water right here. I also seem to have some ships bugged over here. I did fix I think there's a glitch with the bus routes, with the ship lines, so I need to figure that out. But my goal here is to extend this and cover this with rocks and have maybe a little lighthouse at the top entrance. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I just saw that Corrales did a nuclear power plant, and I know a lot of Corrales' viewers also watch this, so that this is the only reason why I'm bringing this up. I just thought it was funny. I was gonna tell him on Skype, bro, like, you totally read my mind and did the exact same thing. So hopefully we can make something cool and can serve as inspiration to him as well as everyone else who's watching this episode too, and get something new out of it. Okay, so this is one of the things that I've been working the most on. I pretty much I didn't decorate the whole freeway, only this segment. As you can see here, this area is still unstyled. But what I wanted to do is only style a segment of the freeway, just so that you can see, you know how like they stage houses when they open houses and things like that. This is what I think the design of the sunken freeway should look like for the rest of the segment that we have here. So we have some concrete walls in the middle. So we also have some of these airport lights every once in a while. And then we have these planters with our signature pines, the tall ones. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it. Everything else is sort of concrete. And then we have like tiny little curves on each on and off ramp. And whatever we have a big chunk of grass, pretty much, just fill it with trees and some rocks. And this is it. This is the design. I think it's super simple. One of the viewers actually pointed out in the previous episode, do you remember how I used to have all super tall pines over in here? They do look nice, but one of the viewers pointed out that you really can't have such a tall tree on top of a tunnel because the roots would just destroy the tunnel, and that wouldn't make sense. So I got rid of all those and trying decorating it with random plants so it doesn't look too repetitive. But for the most part, it's mostly bushes. And I kind of like that. Another thing that I did was we used to have a hospital here, and it was kind of out of place because we have semi-tall buildings all around it. And I decided to move the hospital over here because it's only a 2-story building. And I did put some time into decorating it with all these parking lots, which I think turned out really nice. We have some of these planters and some little trees that I think looked really nice. In fact, I wanted to get maybe I was considering extending the parking lot stores this side so that we don't have any tall buildings on this side or on this side, so it doesn't kind of not block the view of the hospital because it really doesn't have a view. So starting from this avenue, I wanted to extend suburbs and pretty much long. So starting from this diagonal, I wanted to extend in the next couple of episodes, if we have time, our suburbs and have low density residential for the most part, and maybe some commercial too, towards the freeway, and most likely going to have another interchange here because I don't think these two are enough. In fact, this is not an interchange. I mean, it kind of is, but it doesn't connect to the roads. It only connects freeways, and so yeah, this could be come in handy having another interchange somewhere in the middle just to divert traffic, and we'll see how that works. We might actually have to add another on and off ramp to connect to the streets, but we'll worry about that later. Hopefully not that later, because I really want to expand the city. We have a stagnated population. I keep destroying the buildings over and over again, which brings me to something else that I wanted to point out is I did put 2 of these now. Thank you all of you for pointing out what the name is for the not so unique buildings mod, which allows you to put place the unique buildings more than once. So that was really handy. And then just using anarchy, you just put them overlapping. So basically this is the same building put twice, just facing this avenue and this other avenue, and we have to do a ton of decoration. I've been seriously considering extending buildings, just zoning right about here, so it's not like all green and park. I feel like I'm going a bit crazy when it comes to parks. I do love how the green kind of cuts through the city, but it might be a little bit too much. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But for the most part, I'm happy with how this is turning. And let's see what else. All right. One last thing I did. I decorated this whole segment. We used to have just grass here because I demolished everything. Before I show you this in detail, because I'm actually really proud of all these designs, especially this building right here. I want to show you in a second. But another thing I did was decorating the rail yard, because I had to demolish it all when I started creating all these new networks. And I pretty much put cement all around and put down a combination between walls and tall fences. So nothing too fancy, just pretty much following the same design that we had in other places. Just adding props here and there, and this combo between tall fences and walls, I think, is a winner. I really like how it turned out. And over here kind of integrates into a more of a dirt kind of situation. This is what we used to have. And I think it turned out pretty nice. I'm actually quite happy. The walls sort of reach up to this point. So this whole rail yard is now supposed to be more secure. Now, finally, with the progress update, let me position the camera. I'm sure I'm making you dizzy at this point. I started zoning some of these areas. I started by putting down some warehouse here. Nothing too crazy. A lot of concrete. This is simple. No details whatsoever other than just putting down some warehouses, some parking lots, and putting cement. Now here, it's one of the 3 buildings that I added that I thought were going to be the theme for this segment of the city, because I'm imagining this was a segment or a part of the city that was kind of left not developed for quite some time. So I decided to create some abandoned buildings. And now this is actually vanilla, this burned house or rubble kind of house. And we have some overgrown trees, some like pretty much destroyed cars and trees and branches and things. We also have a truck over there, and basically random props throughout, which I think this turned out really, really nice. Over here we have some silos. These are actually 2 buildings that are kind of stuck against each other, and the reason why I did that is because I wanted to create a semi bigger building compared to the default size. So I love how this turned out, by the way. And as you can see here, I also put down some effort into getting the parking lot look like it was not super old. So there are some overgrown bushes here and there, but for the most part, it's still kind of usable. We have overgrown planters. We have some rubble or garbage throughout, and we also have some abandoned train wagons here too. So I don't know. I love how this. It's just so simple. It doesn't have a ton of things, but I'm absolutely love how this turned out. Now over here, this is where the this crazy interchange was. All I did was add some dirt on the ground and just some trees in clusters, like I said before. I think this looks much better. Some paths for pedestrian for good measure, and that hopefully will connect this avenue with this one, because we don't actually have any streets for a while. This is the closest street that we have, and we don't have any paths connecting this two avenues. So if pedestrians want to walk, they now have an option, whereas before they didn't. And over here, this is something that I actually kind of liked, and I've seen this in real life many times. Imagine this used to be a road that would connect to the freeway. So let's just say after this bridge was built, this road was no longer used. So what I did is put down some of these jersey barriers and left the concrete path of what the road potentially used to go, and just fill it with super tall grass and some rocks and bushes, and I extended the cement kind of outside of the bounds the boundaries of this path. And I love how it turned out. It's just a super simple thing, but I kind of like it. I think we should do more of these things, and it totally fits the theme of industrial, just because it's kind of like really hard around the edges, really rough. Now, for the final progress update, let me not show you until the very last moment. I guess you can kind of see now, but I put down the abandoned factory that also comes with the game, and I did several things here. So let me zoom in here, because this is one of my favorite buildings now in the city, and it's abandoned. I love it. So we have this street coming in here, which is obviously connected, and this traffic light obviously works, but don't mind that. What we have here is basically much more overgrown parking lots with just grass growing and all over the place. We have a ton of abandoned cars that are kind of just sitting there and all rotten. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this screen, by the way, it's new, but for some reason in this context, it looks like it's just old and just rusty, you know. And this wall is the castle wall, but it's all broken, and it looks like the wall of a factory, to be honest. So I put down the wall, and it comes in different heights too, which makes it really cool to get variation. So as you can see here. This wall is not as tall as this other place, so you can actually see the difference here. And I added some rocks, some rubble, some just garbage, some random tanks, piles of coal and iron. And I gotta be honest, I love this building. This building is one of my favorites. I had to put down some fences. They're obviously open to vandalize, people doing graffiti, I guess. Urban explorers, why not? But I love it. I love how this turned out. Just couldn't be happier. And it's staying like that. So that's pretty much it. That's the progress update. I haven't done any more than that. So in this episode, I'm finally going to start tackling the downtown decorations. We're going to start decorating the core of our city. Just trying to fill all these gaps here and there. But before I do this, we're going to do something else. I'm going to jump into time-lapse mode and start applying this design so that we can actually finish this freeway project once and for all. It's probably going to take me like 2 hours. So it's going to be a quick time lapse. Hopefully we can get it to squeeze in and make sense in, I don't know, like the 2 minutes that the usual songs that I use take. But yeah, I'm really excited about this design. I think it's going to look great. It's simple. It's actually I don't think it's going to take me that long to get it done, because it's actually really simple. And with the concrete brush, it just makes things really easy. So yeah, let's cue up the music and get this done. And this is the final look of our sunken freeway with pretty much all the decorations that I think I want to add for now. It might look a little bit simpler, but that's sort of what I was aiming for, to be honest. I do love how we have this little treatments on the side, which have some sort of clusters of rocks and clusters of trees and little bushes and vegetation of various styles, but I think they absolutely look great, and they have a wide enough gap between the different lanes and the forested area, just so that for security measures, cars, in case they just pan out of control, they land on the bushes. Of course, that will never happen in this game, but it just makes it a little bit more realistic, if you ask me. So looking over here, we have some more rocks. Pretty much, I applied the same treatment over and over again. I do love how this turned out with the combination of straight concrete walls and planter walls. I'm not actually sure these are planter walls, by the way, but they look brownish, so I decided to put a tree on it. And I think it turned out great. And basically they have this airport lights in between the trees, which also look kind of fantastic. I'm going to try to move the camera not so fast, but just to show you the little details here and there. So you can see here this ramp. This is one of my favorite areas now, just of how it looks with the rocks over there. And I also extended some of the rocks that I plopped over on this side as well. I think that looks pretty nice. If we go over here, same thing. I added a few more bushes here and there just to like roughen up pretty much this whole area, but I think it looks fantastic. Moving on towards this side, pretty much same old. Now this little rock walls in between the bridges look a little bit more integrated now that we have all the vegetation and all the trees and the little tiny forests on each side. So good news there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, same treatment over here as well. And over in this end of the freeway, well, we need to start going down and hopefully tunnel under this canal, and at some point connecting it to the freeway, which I noticed that, and I think this is something that it's being carried away from the very first episode of the series, which is that the lanes here don't really match. So I need to enable the belt outside of bounds mod and really get this fixed, because otherwise no traffic will flow in here. They're completely going the wrong direction. So I need to work on that, probably off camera. Go back to cinematic mode because, well, next thing on our agenda, I should probably turn off the arrows, because they look kind of crazy. So like I was saying, yes, next episode, probably gonna take care of this. Now, like I said before, we're gonna take care of downtown. In fact, I gotta be honest with you, I already kind of did, and the reason why is I did try to record this on camera, but the fact that the buildings are so tall, it made my camera bounce up and down all the time. So I ended up manually adding all those details, and what I'm gonna do now is just do a little tour of downtown and just show you the things that I finished. It's not 100% finished. There's a few spots that I still want to complete and add a bit of detail, but for the most part, the core, the middle area of the downtown district is pretty much done. And another thing that I wanted to do before showing you that, and I keep postponing that over and over again, I'm sure you're like, come on, show me the downtown. But no, I want to show you something else first. So right over here, I added this supermarket, which I think looks great. It's a Carrefour. It's a French supermarket chain. It's all over the world, but it's originally from France, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks great. I added a tiny little bit of a parking lot down here, just in the back. I'm guessing for loading trucks. Maybe we could put down some trucks here. I wouldn't mind. I think it will look great. But I just love how it looks from this angle. I hope that you agree with me. It's kind of overlapping on the key wall here, but it's fine. I think it looks great, and I'm definitely going to keep it. In fact, this whole area, since it's going to be most likely low density residential, I just want to have low, like not more than 2-3 stories overall, and that's why I think this hospital right here also looks really, really nice. Now, going into our gubernatorial quarter, I basically added some decorations here. We still have some work to do, but I put down a library. I think I mentioned this before, I doubled the Grand Central Station, but I did put some parking lots on each side, so I think it looks pretty fantastic. We should probably maybe mirror this little plazas on the corners. And with Anarchy, just place it over there. Boom, fantastic. So now we have cool little corners and some parking lots on the side. Same deal over here, even though I want to have, let me scroll all the way to the end of this menu, just to find the concrete brushes. I just hate that they're only on the side, because I feel like that is one of the tools that I use the most. Over here, I sort of laid the ground for, I don't know, like a little plaza or park that kind of matches our, aesthetic here with the dirt paths, and potentially you're going to add bushes and whatnot. And we should probably, now that we're at it, add a pedestrian crossing here. So let's try to center it as much as we can. There we go. All right, so now people can walk from here into our train station rather easily. There's two paths over here as well, I think. So that's looking good. And then on the other side, I put down a museum of modern art. I still need to figure out what to do on this little strip, because I also added some parking lots over here, and I put down a bike path in between. So this looks great, but now this building was one tile off compared to this one, so I need to figure out. I'm probably gonna put down some bushes or something like that, some sort of vegetation to decorate this little part. And it seems like we're having some power issues. In fact, we've been having power issues for quite some time, and the reason for that is, let's take a look at this thing. Not enough fuel. So I notice, just pause the game because buildings are going to become abandoned. I noticed that there were boats just waiting here and nothing was happening. And then I realized that all these cargo harbor areas were glitched, and there were just ships stopped there and not doing anything. So what I end up doing is, and as you can see, there's a ton of buildings who want raw materials. So I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. I did indeed fix this by turning them on and off, and that seemed to make the boats flow again. And it was like 10 boats were stuck here. So if that happens to you after you modify the routes with this tool, this is what I did in a couple episodes ago, but it was glitching. I think like the path between here and the cargo harbors got glitched somehow. So I turned it off and on, and then just like 20 boats just came out rushing out of this thing into the connection. But hopefully that's fixed now, but I still see some abandoned buildings due to the fact that there's not enough resources or raw materials. So I'm not entirely sure how to fix that, other than just letting it wait. And I think that's also what's happening here. It says not enough fuel. It says cold store for 4 weeks, but for some reason it's not producing enough electricity. So just to be on the safer side of things, I'm going to put a nuclear power plant. I'm just going to plop it here and not really worry too much about it. I really wanted to do a nuclear complex at some point in the city. Definitely not in the next episode or next couple episodes, but I'm definitely going to put this here just so that we are safe from power outages for the most part. Because you can see here we have a ton of power alerts in our system. And let's see what else. All right, so I think it's time to show you downtown. So let's resume the simulation. So this is what the downtown area looks like now. This is probably one of my favorite features. It's roundabout with a fountain in the middle. Treatment that I did, it's pretty much what I do in other places. Just let me try to zoom in so I can show you. We have a wall on the edges, and then just random bushes and trees and little planters. Just nothing too crazy, to be honest. We have the cobblestone path that's kind of arch on the sides, and it kind of goes together in the middle. It's kind of concentric, that's the word. And then over here on this side, this is the first time I put down this ruined castles. These are vanilla, by the way. Came up in update 1.4, if I'm not mistaken, the last one. last one at the time of this recording. But I don't know. I figured this would be some sort of like archaeological feature that was turned into a park. This actually resembles a lot of what I've seen in New Delhi when I was in India a couple of months ago. But it does look kind of cool. Might do that in other places too. And let's see, over here, well, I mean, we used to have this, so all I did was just add more paths in between, wood bushes on each side, and some flowers too. I'm going to try to zoom in as much as I can. Hopefully the camera won't just jump all over the place. What I mean is exactly this, the fact that the camera doesn't want to clip through the buildings, it just wants to jump whatever height it is. This is also one of my favorite little things. Let's see if I can get... There we go. I'm just using a new camera mod just to be able to do these things. This is what it looks like. We have this brick paved road that is a pedestrian road underneath. So I added some parking lots with trees, as you can see here. Nothing too fancy. And pretty much the same thing over in this corner. Hopefully the shadows allow you to see things. I did put down some commercial areas every once in a while. So as you can see here, we have 2 tiny little stores and then some more parks and parking lots, which I think look great. This park is old. We used to have it before. I'm sure you saw it. So I'm not going to go into greater detail there. Going back to a roundabout, I hope that you kind of see where I am in the city. Another little bike path with some bushes on the side, just for good measure. We have a cool little street here, if I remember exactly where it is. Oh, this one right here. So, again, cobblestone road, and some planters and little trees and little details. The chain fences too, just make it look a little bit nicer. Some tiny little shops that I actually specifically forced them to not grow more than the 2 or 3 stories that they normally do in the first stage of growth. So that's good. Coming over here, same thing. Let me just zoom out a little bit. We have tiny little shops again. This one has some picnic tables for eating. Over here, let me exit this camera mod because I don't think we need it anymore. We have another type of path here with... Yeah, maybe we need the camera mode again. Whoa. Just going all over the place. I'm still getting used to this. In fact, the fact that I'm playing Planet Coaster at the same time with this game is just... My muscle memory is just like, what are you doing to me, bro? Like, all the commands are completely different. So I'm just trying to get used to. I love how this turned out, by the way. I think the rocks as a like path markers look amazing, even though... We should probably try something like this on the hills up there. Have like some sort of like hiking trails, which we're definitely gonna go into that. Really excited. In fact, I've been posting. I posted on Twitter a few photos of a hiking trail that I did a couple days ago. That looks really similar to the treatment that I did on the freeway. So you might want to check that out. I'll put the link in the description so you can just see the photo. If I remember. And that's pretty much it. I mean, over here we also have some parking lots, some picnic tables. Again, nothing too fancy. All of this is just going to be sitting in between the buildings, so it's unlikely that they will be clearly seen. But I do wanted to put some time into adding these details. Now, if I go further out, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of empty grass spots all over the place that still require details. And of course, we still need to figure out what to do here. But unfortunately, until we have this freeway connection done, I highly doubt we'll be able to do this, without fearing that we'll have to demolish everything once we start putting down the freeway. So my future plans for getting this freeway connected, probably the next episode. But at the same time, I want to start expanding the suburbs and start adding more residential, just because I want to increase the population and really get down our negative or debt, basically. So for the rest of this episode, I'm going to decorate this little path over here so that I do a little bit of building. And as I do that, because it's going to be a pretty repetitive process, I was thinking of just answering or just commenting on a few little things that have been asked over and over again for the past couple months. Let's see if we can get this row to actually align to this thing. Actually, let's just try this instead. Yeah, so I've been getting a lot of comments on my assets list. I'm going to start with that on Steam. The link that it's also included in the description of this video with a list of all my assets, so you can subscribe. And a lot of people being telling me and asking why do their computers crash when they just subscribe to everything. And the reason is, I think, I'm not entirely sure, and by the way, I'm not an expert in this, but I have a ton of assets, and this game is really not properly optimized for having so many assets, which means that I think the reason, one of the reasons your game might be crashing is because you don't have enough resources. RAM in particular, if you have a ton of props. And, well, I mean, Cities Skylines is a pretty CPU-intensive game, so it's possible that your computer just can't handle that many mods. So what I would suggest, if that is your case, is just go one by one, or just look for the things that you might be interested in and add those to your game. You definitely, I mean, even my game is struggling right now with the number of mods and assets that I have. So maybe just disable some. I do that all the time, by the way. I do try to optimize, and that's why it's hard for me to keep an updated version of the list. I know I said it a couple of times that I wanted to do that, but unfortunately, it's really, really difficult for me to sit down and do it. One of the things I do want to do is just split them in different categories so it's easier to find them, but that requires a lot of work. So my time is limited, and whether I do this, I mean, I either record videos or just, manage assets. So I will eventually get to it, trust me. But right now, it's kind of impossible for me. So I apologize for that. So as I finish adding all the decorations to this area, let me know in the comments if you do indeed want me to do this format where I vlog as I construct things. And of course, just, I want to answer your questions as I do that. So please also let me know what you want to know, because I feel like I should probably written this down before, but I do tend to answer the same questions over and over again. Like, how do you plop everything on every single spot and not have the collision box? I'm talking about Anarchy, by the way. Because I get that question a lot, and I want to start answering them, even though I know they're going to keep coming. But at least there will be a official answer and not just lost in the comments. But yeah, let me know just send me questions. Basically, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them for during the next episode. Absolutely. So now I think we're at a point where we can start the last time lapse of this video. So let's cue up the music once again, and let's get to it. So as we pass through this newly created park, I have to say that unfortunately this is all the time that I have for now. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And if you do agree with me, please click the like button. And also please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. In the next couple episodes, like I said, we're going to be working on expanding the freeway and expanding the suburbs. Hopefully we can start making a profit or at least reducing our debt. But I think that's all for now. I want to thank you all for watching. I really hope to see you in the next one.